Hi, I'm 𝐿 the Massachusetts medium. This video is about relationships in general. And no matter who you're in a relationship with, whether it's a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, whether it's a relationship with your friends, your family, your parents, your children, I personally believe that we've chosen these relationships. I believe that we travel in soul groups when we reincarnate, and everyone that's in your life has been in one of your past lives before. And they're here for a reason. They're here to either teach you something or for you to teach them something. Everything happens for a reason. You still have free will, but life is a journey. And all of these relationships that you're in are all part of your journey. So navigating through these relationships is what it's all about. And getting through different things in your life and learning different things is why we're here. So remember that although the saying goes, you can pick your friends, you can't pick your family, you did pick your family before you came here, and you picked them for a reason. You picked them no matter how terrible they are, so that you would become the person that you are, okay? So learn in your family relationship what it is that you want to take that's good and what you want to leave behind that isn't good for you. Because no family is perfect, no person is perfect, and there are more dysfunctional families out there than there are functional families, and that's a fact. Everyone will think that they've been in the only abusive family in the world and the only dysfunctional family in the world. And the more you get out there and the more you talk to people, the more you realize that a lot of people had it a lot worse than you did. That's why they have shows on hoarders and things like that. Try to learn what it is that you're supposed to from that relationship. And if it's toxic and if it's not helpful to you, then don't feel guilt. Don't feel that you have to remain in that relationship, because you don't have to do anything in this world that you don't want to do, and that's a fact. You are your own person. If your father was abusive or your mother was abusive, and every time you tried to speak with them or develop some normal type of a relationship, they're just completely toxic and it brings up so much for you that it's just horrible, then cut them loose. No one says you have to keep them in your life forever. No one. Okay? There's no rule out there that says you have to maintain ties with anyone in your life. If you have people in your life, family or otherwise, that are not good for you, they're not nurturing for you, they're not helpful for you, there's nothing good in that relationship, then you need to let that relationship go. Worry about you, know it's for your highest and best, and move on, no matter what it is. And that doesn't mean you have to cut them off completely. Maybe you'll send your family a Christmas card, maybe you'll drop in and visit them for 10 minutes on Christmas, but that doesn't mean that you have to endure the daily hour on the phone being told that you're no good or that you're doing everything wrong. It doesn't mean that you have to show up for every holiday, every birthday, every vacation, every anything. You pick and choose in your life who you want to have in your life, what you want to do in your life, and how your relationships are going to proceed. Okay? So that being said, keep in mind that no matter what your relationship is, all relationships are built on compromise. Whether it's your significant other, whether it's your sister, your brother, your mother, at some point in time you're compromising. You may really not want to have to drive all the way up to New Hampshire for Thanksgiving dinner with your family, but they really haven't seen the grandkids in like 6 months, and you're not going to see them for Christmas, so you're going to compromise and you're going to go do the 2-hour drive, get up there, have Thanksgiving dinner, enjoy it, so that they can maintain that relationship. Relationships are always built on some kind of compromise. Maybe a big compromise, maybe a little compromise. So if you're compromising too much in your relationship, that's when you need to relook at your relationship and maybe renegotiate some things in your relationship, okay? No one should feel that they're the person that's compromising all the time, because that doesn't lead for good feelings for anybody. Sometimes you may have to. If your parents are older, they're unable to travel, the only way they get to see you and the children is if you travel. Yes, you're compromising more than they are, but it's not something that they can really change much, unless you're willing to fly them out. Don't let your family get in the middle, or your friends get in the middle of your relationship with your significant other. That is supposed to be your strongest relationship. That is supposed to be the relationship that is the most nurturing for you. That's why you have that relationship. So your other relationships are peripheral to that relationship. Don't let other people get in the middle of it. Don't let them tell you what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. If there's a problem in that relationship and you feel that you can't address it with your significant other, and you may need advice outside your relationship, be very careful on who you're asking for advice and where you're getting it from. Make sure you're asking someone who's going to give you the correct advice, not just their opinion. Make sure you're asking it from someone who's not going to now spread that around, that you're having a problem or an issue, or that you went and asked for advice. Always do what you think is going to be the best for the both of you and what's going to put you where you want to be in life. That's how you should be making that decision. Don't let your children get in the middle of the relationship of you and your significant other. It may be that it's a first marriage or a second marriage or a third marriage. It doesn't really matter. But before those children came along, there was the two of you. You are the two that made the children. So your children are not more important than your relationship. And a lot of people forget this. And that's why a lot of relationships, husband and wives, after the children come along, the children get in the middle of it and the marriage fails. Because one parent takes the side of one child, another parent might take the side of another child, and they'll play the parents off between each other. You are supposed to be the two unified people. You were the ones that were there before the children. And you need to remember that so that the children do not get in the middle of your relationship and cause your relationship to fail, okay? They'll have their own relationships, believe me. They'll grow up, they'll get married, they'll move on, and you'll be alone because they've now put a wedge between the two of you and they've forced you apart. So it's not a good thing. Be careful with that. You may not like each other's friends, but you need to have freedom in your relationship, and you're free to choose who your friends are. So although your significant other may not like the friends that you chose, you need to compromise around that. You need to be able to be somewhat unjudgmental so that you're not constantly giving your opinion to the other person. It may be a high school friend, it may be a worker, it may be somebody that was, very important to this person for whatever reason, and you don't get along with them. It does not mean that their friendship should end just because you don't get along with them. You have your friends, and the same thing may happen. You might have a friend of yours that does not get along with your significant other. So compromise is what you need there, so that you're not mixing everybody together and causing problems, but you can still enjoy the relationship outside of your primary relationship, okay? Even if you can't integrate it in. Remember that there's always more than one way to cheat on someone in a relationship. Having sex with someone else outside your relationship is not the only way to cheat on someone. If you are going outside of your significant relationship and you are disclosing personal, intimate details about that relationship with someone else, then that is cheating on your relationship. Those are the things that you discuss with your partner in your relationship. You don't discuss those intimate details outside of your relationship. You just don't do that. It's not appropriate. No one wants it done to them. And it is a form of cheating in your relationship. If you found out, believe me, neither one of you will take it well, and it will cause another big divide in your relationship, because if you've now disclosed this, what else have you disclosed? What else, how much farther has that gone, or where will it go? It brings up a lot more things. So those intimate things, that's why you're intimate. You keep them between the two of you. The other thing that's very important when you're in a relationship is that you take the other person into consideration. And that's part of the compromise that you have in a relationship. And it doesn't really matter whether it's your exclusive significant relationship, whether it's a relationship with your girlfriend or a relationship with a buddy from work. You still have to take that other person's feelings into consideration when you make decisions and you do things. Suppose your buddy from work came up with 2 tickets for the Bruins game, and he wanted you to go to the Bruins game with him. They figured, oh, we'll have a great night out, we'll go out and have some dinner, we'll have a couple beers, we'll go to the game and hang out and have a great night. And you're like, oh, well, how about if my wife joins us for dinner first, so she can be with us, and then we'll go to the Bruins game. You just kind of ruined the whole night for your buddy who's thinking he's going to have a really good night, be able to talk to you about some things, maybe work's bothering him, stuff like that. So you want to take the other person's feelings into consideration before you go and come up with something like that. Maybe the whole reason that he asked you to go was so that you could have that alone time together to hash out problems that he's got, maybe in his own life, and then go enjoy the game together. So whatever relationship it is, try to have some consideration for where they're coming from and look at it from their perspective. And you end up with a lot less hurt feelings that way when you can do that. A lot of times people act before they think, and by doing that they alienate the other person. And friends that have been friends for many, many years end up going their own separate ways because the other person was just being inconsiderate and not thinking about the other person. So always try to do that. Always come heart-centered and come from your heart. And if you make a mistake and you mess up, then own it. Admit it. Say you're sorry. It's 2 little words that could mean a huge difference in someone else's life. And it's not the biggest deal in the world because, again, we're only human. No one's perfect. No one can do the right thing all the time, as much as we like to try. Every relationship is going to be different. The relationship that you have with your parents is going to be different from the relationship you have with your significant other's parents and family. So try to take everyone into consideration the best that you can, but always remember that the most important people are you, and if you're in a relationship, an intimate relationship with someone, that other significant other person, you too are the most important people after yourself, okay? And then everyone else can be taken care of from there. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.